How does one approach a piece as iconic as Beethoven's Fifth Symphony? I think as a conductor, you need to strip away its fame and its mystique and re engage fresh with the paper, the manuscript paper it's written on. For example, when I look at that first page, the second pause is written to be a bar longer than the first. Should you make a feature out of that? I think you probably should. I think the silence before that gesture that comes in quietly in piano, you can vary from time to time through the movement. It needs to have a feeling of building through the movement. The relentlessness that he writes with is utterly extraordinary, and this effect of whatever it is, of death, of fate, should grow right the way towards those thunderbolts at the end. When the cellos and basses play under the lyrical second melody, you often hear it that they're in agreement or in sympathy with it, and I don't feel it like that at all. I feel they should upset and remind of the darkness of the opening. I find the gesture in the middle of the movement, when these screaming high horns are answered by the burdened low strings, is one of the great impasses in classical music. Beethoven's sense of searing drama certainly doesn't abate in the second movement. You expect lyricism, and certainly it starts out in this vein, but it's quickly interrupted by blazing trumpets and drums, which is an incredibly unusual gesture for a slow second movement of this period. There's a passage near the end of the second movement which is a real earworm for me. It's the sort of passage which wakes me up in the middle of the night. It's when the strings plead, joined later by the woodwinds, for a sense of calm and tranquility, a tranquility which never comes in this piece. Is the finale triumphant? I don't think so. It's far too feverish and white hot. I love the sound of natural trumpets and timpani in all music of this period, but in this piece especially, they enhance that elemental quality. Beethoven seems to be striving at the top of his will and might for sound, and is that a comment on his deafness? It could well be, but I think what you're left with is no sense of resolution. It's more like an immolation, a burning at the end of this extraordinary piece of work. I wish we could all be in the same room together in the festival hall, listening, performing, thinking about these three great pieces. But for now, enjoy the recordings, and we'll be back with you live and in person, performing as soon as we can.